Now, speaking of YouTube, there was a lady, she responded to a show that I did about a month ago. I think show number 220, where I talked about ABC special, talking about how successful black women can't get married, successful black women can't get mates. I addressed that on show number 220, and a lot of sisters were talking about that. That was like real big on the internet. A lot of people were talking about it. There were a lot of message boards discussing my show and my response to it. Some women agreed, some women disagreed. It got a lot of women up in arms. Some women were cool about it, some women were not cool about it. But it made interesting dialogue. And there was a lady on YouTube recently. She made a response to my response. And a lot of my people on Facebook, I posted up the link on Facebook, and some of my cats want me to go in on the woman, and I'm not going to go in on her because she didn't disrespect. I mean, she had a difference of opinion, and I can respect that. You know, she came at it from an intellectual standpoint. She just discussed the issues about what I said. She didn't make any personal attacks, and that's cool. Long as you don't make no personal attacks on me, I'm good. Because that's the thing. Whenever I say something and women say they want to debate me, or women have a disagreement with what I say, usually they'll try to preface it with some kind of personal attack. Like, oh, fuck Tariq, and he ain't shit, and he ain't all that. They'll say some old sideways shit. So they'll get all off the subject. At least this woman, she stayed on the subject, and I can respect that. She didn't take any kind of personal jabs or anything like that. She stuck with the issue. So I'm going to address some of the things she said. It's perfect. It's perfectly fine for people to have differences of opinions. That's what makes us tick. So I'm going to address that in a moment. And you guys have seen videos of people who disagree with me. There was one lady about a year and a half ago. I think her name was Miss Dose of Reality. All my long-term listeners, you guys remember who that is. I went in on this chick. She made a very mean-spirited video about me on YouTube, telling people they shouldn't support me, they shouldn't listen to me. It was very mean-spirited. Tariq ain't this, and Tariq, and he ain't all that. And now, when you say shit like that, that's when I'm gonna put the bullseye on your ass. And that lady, Miss Dose of Reality, we found her picture, and it was a goddamn wrap. Once we found out what she looked like and she was talking all that slick stuff, it was a wrap. I went all the way in on her. You guys can hear me going in on her. I made a special of it. The show is way back in the archives, but I talk about it on the barbecue special. On my pay-per-view special, you go to maclessons.com and get the barbecue special. It's only $5. And I talk about the famous roasts and disses that I've had on the show. And she was one of them. Yeah, we saw her picture and she looked like Baby Bop from Barney. So I really went in on that ass. But I digress. So anyway, let me play some clips of this lady. I don't even know what this lady's name is, but I know she's on YouTube. She made a video disagreeing with some of the stuff I said about the women on the ABC show, and let me respond to some of the things she's saying. So here it is.
This video is going to analyze Tariq Elite's analyzation of the ABC special that talked about how 42% of black women will never marry. My analyzation is coming per the request of a viewer. First of all, Tariq Elite did more to tear these women down than to prove why they're single. In the process of doing this, he actually just strengthened their argument. The link will be in the sidebar if you want to see the whole show, but it's like 30-something minutes long, so pop you some popcorn, you'll be there for a while. Since Tariq couldn't fall back on the usual list of things that black men hold against black women, fat, got kids out of wedlock, bad attitude, he had to find some other way to discredit them and justify their being single. So let's see how he does it. First point I want to bring up about Tariq Elite's video is that he says these 4 women are average looking. At the beginning of the video, he says 2 of them are kinda cute, but later on in the video, he says all 4 of them are average. After he said that, I wanted to ask him, so just based on these women's looks and nothing else, would you approach them?
Okay, let me stop it right there. Okay, let me answer, because she wanted to ask me, so let me answer that. Let me put on my Mackin music. And I will stick by that. These women are not bad looking. I never said any of them were bad looking. But these women live down in Atlanta. there's a lot of dimes in Atlanta. They still, some of these women, their mentality is on some other shit. But there's some real fly women, if you're just talking about physical looks, some real fly women down in Atlanta. And based on Atlanta terms, these women are kind of average. Not saying that they're bad looking, but you have to keep it 100. If you're in a city that really has an overabundance of women who outnumber the men in that city, Atlanta's crawling with women, then you have a bunch of women who are younger than these women because these women were in their 30s and 40s. Then you have a bunch of women who are really dimes. So compared to all that, these women are average. That's the reality of the game. That's not disparaging these women or anything. So the point is that them using the excuse, oh, I'm just so beautiful, I just look so good, or whatever, I intimidate men, how come they don't see how beautiful I am? Well, you have to look at the geographical location you're in. You're in a city full of dimes. You're in a city full of women that's really finer than you. Not to say that you're not bad-looking women, but I'm just not going to go out of my way to spit game at them. And she asked the question, would I talk to them based on looks? These women are what we call mannequins. They're C-class women. And I talked about this in my book, Player Be Played. Let's crack open the survival scrolls to Player Be Played. A C-class female is the mannequin. This is the female whose looks are indicative based on her attitude. That means the woman's attitude will make or break her looks. Do you understand that? Fellas, have you seen a woman who was kind of average looking, but she was real sexy and that made her look better to you? It goes the other way as well. You have women who look kind of cool, but then they start talking and then you see what their attitude is like. Then all of a sudden they're not that attractive. I'll give you an example. There's a show on the Oxygen Network called The Bad Girls Club. In this season, they have this one chick named Natalie on here. Now, Natalie, little red bone chick, nice little booty on her. The face is a little strong, but not that bad. Like when the show first came on, you're like, okay, she's not that bad. But when she starts talking and then you see how whack her attitude is, it makes her look unattractive. You start focusing on the negative aspects of a person when you see their attitude isn't up to par. You dig? So a lot of these women are basically what we call mannequins. Their attitude can make or break the perception of them. And I go real deep into that in my book, Player Be Played. You guys should get that. So, all right, let me finish playing the clips. Hold on one second. Here we go.
The next point I want to bring up is that while ABC suggests that these women are successful, Tariq Elite challenges that and actually starts ridiculing their jobs. The first woman they featured was a prosecuting attorney / cheerleader, to which Tariq says, what kind of shit is that?
Absolutely, and I still say, what kind of shit is that? I still say, what kind of shit is that, because it sounds weird. That's something that you can't really take that seriously. My dude Playdar sent me an email, and he made a very good point. Ladies, let's flip the script. What if you met a dude, ladies, and he was like, I'm a brain surgeon in the daytime, but at night I'm a Chippendales dancer? Would you take that dude seriously? Most likely you won't. Right there, you would look at the dude and there would be some red flags there that you don't even want to get into. It's the same thing. Let's say a dude has himself together. You meet a woman talking about she's a lawyer trying to be a judge, but she's a cheerleader on the weekend. That's some weird, out there type shit that a real dude don't even want to analyze what that's about. You just want to say, okay, let me just charge that to the game. That's weird. All right, so let me play the rest of the clips.
The next woman was a high school counselor, and Tariq inquires about how much that pays. Then there's the payroll specialist, which, based on the name of that job, I'm not really sure what she does myself. But anyway, for that, Tariq makes a funny comment, should I move my car so you can back your Brinks truck in with all this money you're making, or something to that effect.
Right.
The last woman, I forgot what she does, but I don't care enough to go find out. It really doesn't matter. The next point I want to make is that Tariq Elite was bothered by the fact that they didn't show where these women lived. He seems to be interested in where they live to help prove whether or not they're really successful. I suppose if they were shown to live in apartments or in shabby houses, he would use that to further bolster his claim that these women aren't really successful. Now, it sounds like Tariq is making good points about their jobs and wanting to know where they live, and questioning whether or not they're really quote-unquote balling out of control, but he's really not.